I almost canceled 3 times. Once in my head, once with my finger hovering over the message, and once out loud, to absolutely no one, which somehow made it more dramatic. There's a very specific kind of emotional negotiation that happens right before you decide not to go somewhere. Suddenly you're too tired, too busy, too socially unavailable for the next 10 years. I was already building a very convincing case for staying home. Honestly, I told myself, nothing life-changing has ever happened because someone went out when they didn't feel like it. That statement felt wise, mature, grounded. It was also completely wrong, because if I had canceled like I wanted to, I would have missed the most unexpectedly complicated evening of my month, and the one person I definitely didn't plan to meet. The plan was simple. Too simple, actually, which should have been another warning sign. It was just a small after-work gathering. Nothing fancy. Nothing emotional. Nothing that required real pants, in my opinion. I was only going because I had said yes a week earlier, back when future me sounded much more energetic and socially functional. Present me strongly disagreed with that decision. I even tried one last message. Hey, is this still happening tonight? Which is a universal sentence that really means, please say no, please say no, please say no. They said yes, with enthusiasm. That felt personal. So I went, reluctantly, respectfully, dramatically. I told myself I would stay for 20 minutes, 30 if there was decent food, 40 only under extreme social pressure. I walked in already planning my exit. And that's usually when plans stop working. Because the first thing that happened, before I even had time to pretend I was comfortable, was that someone I didn't know smiled at me like we were already in the middle of a conversation. You know that kind of smile? The confident kind. The oh good, you're here kind. I remember thinking, that can't possibly be for me. It was. He walked straight toward me, which immediately ruled out the possibility that the smile had been meant for someone behind me. I did that quick social check anyway. Tiny glance over the shoulder, just in case. No one there. Great. Hi, he said, like we had already met. Not awkward, not hesitant, just certain. Hi, I answered, in my standard neutral social tone, the one that buys me a few seconds to figure out what's happening. I'm glad you made it, he added. That sentence is dangerous when you're not sure why someone is glad. Me too, I said automatically, because apparently my mouth enjoys making promises my brain hasn't approved. He laughed softly. You almost didn't come, didn't you? He said. Now that caught my attention. How would you know that? I asked. He shrugged. You have the face of someone who negotiated with herself before leaving the house. I stared at him. That was uncomfortably accurate. I feel exposed, I said. You should, he replied calmly. You almost missed the good part. The good part. I looked around. There were snacks. 3 conversations about work. 1 person explaining something to a plant. I'm going to need more details, I said. He smiled again, smaller this time. Give it 5 minutes, he said. You'll see. 5 minutes. I had heard that before, and it had never once been true. I expected a speech, or an announcement, or at least someone opening a bottle dramatically. That's usually what people mean by the good part. It was none of those things. It was a game, not a fun, casual background game. A structured, organized, fully serious game, with printed cards, rules, and a level of emotional involvement that should probably require a waiver. Tell me you're kidding, I said quietly. I never kid about competitive social games, he replied. This is where reputations are built and destroyed. That's not comforting, I said. He leaned slightly closer. Relax, he added. You're with me. That sentence did something strange to my nervous system. Not calm, not panic, something in between. I don't even know what the game is, I said. You will, he answered. Very soon. Someone clapped loudly. That's never a good sign. Okay, everyone, the host announced. We're pairing people randomly. Randomly. I don't trust that word in social environments. People started drawing cards, names, partners. I picked one, looked down, looked up. He was holding the matching card. Of course he was. He didn't look surprised at all. That's convenient, he said. That's suspicious, I answered. He smiled. 5 more minutes, he said quietly. Now you're definitely not leaving. And the annoying part? He was right. The rules were explained 3 times. I understood none of them. There were categories, timed rounds, and something about strategic honesty, which already sounded like a trap. So, I said quietly, are we supposed to win or survive? Both, he answered. Preferably with dignity. We're already failing the dignity part, I said. That's fine, he replied. Dignity is overrated in round 1. We sat across from each other with a small stack of cards between us. Draw, the host said. I picked a card and read it. I immediately regretted participating in society. What does it say? He asked. No, I answered. That's not what it says. It might as well, I replied. This question is dangerous. He laughed. Read it. I sighed. Describe your partner in 3 words based only on first impression. He smiled slowly. Oh, this is easy, he said. That confidence worries me, I answered. Curious, he began. Careful. And pretending not to be brave. I blinked. That was annoyingly precise. You're not supposed to be good at this, I said. Your turn, he replied. I looked at him for a moment. Too calm, too observant, too comfortable. Prepared, I said. Suspicious. And socially dangerous. He laughed. Real laugh this time. I'll take that, he said. Round after round it kept going like that. Teasing, guessing, observing, missing on purpose, getting it right by accident. At some point I realized something slightly alarming. I had completely forgotten I almost didn't come. Round 2 was worse, not harder, just more personally offensive. Draw, the host said. He picked this time and read the card first. His eyebrows lifted just a little. That's never a good sign, I said. It depends how emotionally stable you are, he answered. I'm not, I said. Read it. He turned the card toward me. Tell your partner something they are pretending not to care about tonight. I stared at the ceiling. Who wrote this game? I asked. A therapist with a revenge agenda? Answer, he said, smiling. You first, I insisted. He nodded, surprisingly cooperative. You're pretending you don't care how you're being perceived, he said calmly. But you checked the room twice when you walked in. I blinked. That was observationally rude. It was accurate. Your turn, he added. I looked at him more carefully now. You're pretending this is all casual, I said, but you're choosing every word before you say it. He paused half a second. That was observationally dangerous, he replied. Thank you, I said. I'm competitive. Next round. New card. I picked it and immediately laughed. What? He asked. This one is either very good or very bad. Those are the best categories. I read it. Partner challenge. One person tells a short true story. The other must detect the lie inside it. Oh, I like this, he said. You go first. I should not have agreed so fast. Okay, I began. I once accepted a job I was not qualified for. Pretended I understood everything, survived 3 weeks, and left with a cake and a thank you card. He watched my face the entire time. "The lie is the cake," he said. That was too fast. "You don't look like someone who gets farewell cake," he added gently. "That is deeply offensive and probably true. Your turn," I said. He nodded. "I once missed a flight, met a stranger at the airport cafe, helped her solve a problem she didn't know she had, and never saw her again." I narrowed my eyes. "That's too poetic. The lie is the stranger." "No," he said. "The lie is that I never saw her again." I felt that sentence land a little deeper than expected. "That was smooth," I said. "I practice," he answered. "That worries me." "It should." Third extra round. At this point, we were absolutely trying to win, even though neither of us admitted it. "Speed round," the host announced. "Answer without thinking." That is never my strength. "Describe your partner's hidden talent," the card said. "Reading people too fast," he answered instantly. "Deflecting with humor," I replied at the same time. We both stopped. "That was disturbingly synchronized," I said. "Good teams are," he answered. "We are not a team," I clarified. "Not officially," he agreed. That word officially did something subtle again. I ignored it professionally. Final mini-challenge card. We both leaned in to read it together. Decide silently. Would you trust this person with a secret? We looked at each other. No joke, no line, no performance. Just a quiet 3-second evaluation. He nodded once. I did too. "Well," I said, breaking the moment, "that's either very reassuring or very irresponsible." "Most trust is," he replied. And that, more than the game, was when the evening shifted from funny to meaningful. At some point, the game paused, either because we reached the end or because people ran out of emotional stability. I didn't ask which. "Air break," someone announced. "Best sentence of the night so far." We stepped away from the table at the same time, like teammates leaving a battlefield we did not train for. "That was intense," I said. "That was level 1, he replied. "You did well." I answered 3 questions with sarcasm and 1 with denial. "Exactly," he said. "Strong technique." We moved toward the quieter side of the room, where conversations were softer and nobody was evaluating personality traits out loud. "That card you pulled first," he said. "You almost refused to read it." "It was risky," I answered. "You don't like being seen too fast," he said, not as a question. I looked at him. That sounded very analytical. "It was," he replied calmly. "I pay attention." "I noticed," I said. "It's slightly dangerous." He smiled. "Only if you're hiding," he said. "I'm not hiding," I answered automatically, which immediately made it sound like I was. He didn't press. That was new. "Why did you really come tonight?" he asked instead. "Because I said I would," I answered, which is sometimes my best quality and sometimes my worst decision. He nodded. "I almost didn't come either," he said. Now that surprised me. "You?" I asked. "You seem very socially prepared." "That's just good acting," he said. "I was tired, almost canceled." I laughed. "Okay, now I feel less exposed." We stood there for a quiet moment, comfortable quiet, not empty, just unforced. And that's when I noticed something subtle but important. I wasn't thinking about leaving anymore. We didn't go back to the table after the break. Not officially. We both pretended we were going to, and then somehow kept walking in the opposite direction at the same speed. "That game was emotionally illegal," I said. "It should come with a warning label," he agreed. "Do not play if you enjoy emotional privacy." I enjoy emotional privacy, I said. I noticed, he replied. You protect your answers with jokes. I protect everything with jokes. That's efficient. It's economical, I corrected. Less paperwork. He laughed. We passed a window, and I caught our reflection walking side by side like we had arrived together. That visual did something strange and quiet in my chest. So, I asked, what almost made you cancel? He didn't answer immediately, which told me the question had reached something real. Long week, he said at last. Too many conversations where people talk, but don't say anything. That's most meetings, I said. That's most days, he replied. That's too philosophical for someone who survived round 3 of that game. I contain multitudes, he said calmly. That sounds like a warning. It is. We slowed near the hallway corner where it was quieter. Your turn, he said. What almost made you stay home? Energy, I answered. Social energy is a limited resource, and I spend it badly. Bad investments? Terrible returns, I said. Sometimes I attend things that feel like human spreadsheets. He laughed louder at that one. I almost didn't come because I didn't want to perform, I added. Do you know that feeling? Yes, he said immediately. Showing up as a version of yourself that is technically acceptable but not entirely true. That was very specific. It was very experienced. That's comforting and concerning. Both can coexist, he said. We kept walking slowly now, not heading anywhere, just continuing. I used to cancel a lot more, I admitted. Entire phases of my life disappeared behind reschedule messages. Did you regret it? He asked. Not at the time, I said. At the time it always felt justified, logical, necessary. And later? Later I realized some doors only knock once. He nodded like someone who had met that truth personally. That's why I try to show up now, he said, even when I don't feel impressive. That might be the most useful social philosophy I've heard this year. I printed on business cards, he replied. I'd read that card. You would correct the grammar. Absolutely. We both smiled. There was a pause then, not empty, just unguarded. The kind of pause where nobody is performing anymore. You're easier to talk to than you pretend, he said quietly. You're more careful than you pretend, I answered. Accurate. Annoying. Consistent, he corrected. And somewhere right there, between sarcasm and sincerity, the evening stopped being an event and started being a memory. Since you almost didn't come, he said, I feel like we should reward our statistical improbability. That sounded very mathematical, I answered. It is, he said. 2 people almost cancel. Both show up. That deserves at least a coffee. There it was again. Coffee seems to be the universal unit of unexpected continuity. You're very confident for someone who just met me, I said. I'm very observant for someone who pays attention, he replied. That didn't clarify anything. It wasn't meant to. I laughed. Is this your standard closing move after social games? I asked. No, he said. Usually I go home. Today I'm improvising. That answer, for some reason, worked. Okay, I said. But I get one condition. He nodded. Fair. If I almost cancel, I added, you're not allowed to take it personally. He smiled. If you almost cancel, I'll assume consistency. Good, I said. I value being predictable in my unpredictability. Tomorrow? He asked. Tomorrow, I confirmed. No dramatic pause, no cinematic music, no sudden emotional confession. Just an agreement, calm and easy, like it belonged there. On my way home, I kept thinking about how close I came to not going at all, and how many small good things in life almost don't happen, not because they're impossible, but because we nearly stay home. I still believe in rest, in quiet nights, in canceled plans when needed. But now I also believe in this. Sometimes the best part of the story only exists on the night you almost didn't go.